Hey, oh, Jesus Christ, the camera's not working. Now the camera's not working.
The virtual camera?
No, my camera. My
Oh.
camera, your camera, any camera. This is outstanding. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Hey. We can see
Problem.
each other, right? That's all that matters.
I mean, we can see each other. Let's see. How am I gonna fix this? Stand by. Here, tell the audience a quick, interesting story while I just try to tinker around with this camera here for a
I
second.
get to go a quick, interesting story. I don't know any quick, interesting stories. I don't know if I only know any fucking interesting stories, but let's see. I'm really good at relationships. I'm on my third marriage, although this one's lasted as long as my first two combined, so I'm proud of that. Less of an alcoholic than I used to be. Still really like pills. Don't know why you have me on this show regularly. I should say it twice. Twice for me is regularly in any type of relationship. So it's like, fuck, I get to do this twice. All right, we got something special here.
Oh, that's so good. I love
Right?
it. I love it.
I don't at all.
I am trying to make this dang thing work. This has not happened in a while. So
It's okay.
congratulations. You're getting to see how it used to be for us.
That's right. That's okay.
Let's see. Maybe if I deactivate it and
Sometimes I get more
reactivate it.
nervous during my second time. than my
Hi!
first time too. Holy shit, are we back?
I think it's working now. Hang on.
Oh man. This whole stalling thing would be a lot easier, by the way, if I could see comments or anything. I'm just like looking at a screen talking about
Yeah.
stuff and not doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going swimmingly. Just so you know, you're doing great.
Thank you.
You're doing great.
I'm really the anchor here.
It's really making me miss my old co-host Radar, because like only because let me finish. Let me finish.
I'm joking.
Only because we had so many technical problems that he became a pro at stalling for time. He was like at the dancing. Look at me, like,
nice.
while I'm fixing things. All right, I think we're. This could not have went worse.
So does this mean I get something from the giveaway now?
Yes, exactly. Oh man. Yes, I'm gonna blame Radar. That's what the audience is saying. Blame Radar. All right, back to where we were. Apologies. I wanted to give something away. I wanted to give away a lovely gift box filled with wonderful prizes. And in order to do that, we need to do the Wheel of Names. So let me see. I hope that this couldn't have been what broke it. I can't imagine that's what broke it. But let's see. Let's see what happens. All right, there's the Wheel of Names. So we do need a prize name for us to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and call out. Now you have time. You've had time to think. What's a good prize word?
Another good prize word?
I mean, yeah, we have to start over. I lost the last one.
Okay, so my other one wasn't good enough.
It wasn't. No. You can do better.
Is it a single word, or can it be a phrase? Like, what is?
I mean, make it easy. Jesus Christ, people have to type this on their phones. Like, make it easy.
Okay.
And you're making it hard. They're not gonna like you. You're making shit hard for them.
No, fibula.
I mean, okay. You heard it here, folks. First, folks. Fibula. If you wanna play the game, you want a chance to win. Fibula, it is. So
capital F.
With specifically with the cap, you are disqualified if you use a lowercase f.
Yeah.
So once again, let me make sure I got everything. So whoop, we don't want the echo. We don't want that. All right. So fibula, it is. Fibula is the code word. All right, I think I have everything back up and running. Okay, so wow, Jesus Christ, we already got a couple. Okay, bet. I like this. All right, everybody's wants to play along. Everybody wants some free shit. Okay, so here's where it's gonna get interesting because I need to somehow read and type everyone. Excuse me. And I'm also trying not to cough my head off. All right, so who we got? Kenneth Wolfie? All right, well, Kenneth Connor. I like that. Let's go Kenneth Connor. And you'll see I'm just typing names just over Massey's forehead. Heath. Heath, I already got you in there. You're in there, bud. You're in there. You ain't gotta do that. Kenneth, who is John Trell? All right, respect. Some of these names are outstanding. God bless. So while I'm typing away, Massey, this is.
You're wanting me to do co-hosting things?
Yeah, you know, tell the audience. I don't know. Take them on a wild ride.
Take them on a journey.
Take them on a journey.
A journey into mystery.
You know, keep them flabbergasted. Because man, I got a lot more names than I thought I was gonna get. So let's see, Jamie Barnhard. God bless. All right. Yeah. Barnhard. Respect.
I would say more, but you keep talking out loud, and I just don't want to talk.
Go, please. No, please talk over me. I just run out the mouth.
Same here. But yeah, so I'm stuck in Knoxville, Tennessee this week.
What are you doing in Knoxville?
I lived here before I went to Charlotte, but they have a big ass drive-in theater here that they converted into a giant fucking LED display. It's like 50 feet tall. It's massive. And I've got to sit here and watch movies all week to make sure it works. So it's a hard week. I've watched Men in Black 8 times now. So it's 1 and 2 because Sci-Fi's had a marathon. But I got the Fire Stick going tomorrow, and I have the Hiya channel, which is all kung fu movies and shit. So me rocking the old kung fu movies for the rest of the week.
That is tiptoeing towards racist. Just letting you know. The Hiya channel.
Well, the name of the channel, yeah. But
is it really called Hiya?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's one of the
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Okay.
It sounds terrible, but it's all like
shame on me then. All right. So I think I got everybody. I got everybody that's playing along. Now, if you see, you'll see there's multiple names, multiple listed. Like I said earlier, before we were cut off, those are Patreon members. So if you want your name thrown in without having to put in any silly words or play along or have multiple entries, be a Patreon member. They get the shits. So they don't get the shits. That's a terrible that's a terrible way of saying that.
Co-hosting this fucking show gives me this shit.
All right, I'm gonna shuffle up these names. Shuffle. This is a nice big shuffle. You see, I'm doing all this live. There's no pre-recorded here. You can't claim any kind of nonsense here. So, with that, the first prize of the night, because I might give away more. Because at this point, why even do a show? Let's just make this a fucking giveaway hour. I don't know. Everybody would love that. Here we go. First winner of the night is well, congratulations, Kenneth Connor, who is watching live right now. Look at that.
Congratulations.
Kenneth Wolfie Connor. So, Mr. Wolfie, if you're out there, you're going to want to hit me up in the DMs on Pop Culture Warrior. Not WTF Nation Radio, but reach out to Pop Culture Warrior specifically, and I will get you. We're fabulous. Have you ever seen, Massey, have you ever seen one of my prize boxes? You see the stuff that goes in there?
No, I didn't know if it was like a specific prize or a prize box.
Oh, man. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So every prize box that I do obviously has a bunch of wild and weird knickknacks and whatevers that I've collected over my travels. But included in every box is some kind of signed item. So as an example, here's a Ren and Stimpy signed by the voices of Ren and Stimpy, Billy West.
I want that so bad.
Yes. Or let's see another example. Or here's like a Cobra Kai. Nope, that's the wrong one. This is Cobra Kai signed by what's his face? The bad guy.
Oh.
Yeah, that guy. He signed that.
Not the Ren and Stimpy guy. That's all I care about.
Oh, that's weird. Or if you're a Reno 911 fan, I got Deputy Garcia.
Nice.
signed. So, alrighty. So one of those, you'll get a one of a kind signed item. The other thing is, I have a lot of artist friends, as well as I go to a lot of Comic Cons, and I collect original pieces of artwork. So you'll also get an original piece of artwork by some artist, randomly drawn. So yeah, so each prize box contains, at the very least, a signed item, a custom artwork piece, and then just a bunch of random knickknacks that I've just
Dude,
collected
I
over.
gotta give you, that's cool as shit, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And
sweet.
that's each box that goes out. Because God damn it, I put my name on that and I put my pride into it.
Yeah.
So why are we still looking at that? Sorry. So we will, Wolfie, Kenneth, reach out, hit me up, and I will get you out one of those boxes. And you know what? We'll probably do another one. I'll tell you what, after the interview, we do another one. We'll do another one. Just as to make up for this disasterly kickoff for this episode. I'm going to do another giveaway at the end of the...
This is something I'm fully willing to take the blame for.
Guys, it was 100% his fault. Yeah, even though he's remotely connected in via nothing but a webcam, this was all his fault. I want you to know that.
100%.
All right. So,
hey, I'm never gonna come back on as a co-host just so I can start entering giveaways.
Or be a Patreon member. I mean, that's a really easy way to do it.
No.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug. I should have like a thing that flashes on the screen. Join now at patreon.com/popculturewarrior. So yeah, we'll do another giveaway.
I didn't get any money.
Mike in the chats is saying he's noticed there's a new prop in the background. That is Loki's scepter from the Avengers. And it is heavy as fuck. That thing is metal. It's actual metal. And it is heavy. Heavy. It's heavy. Way heavier than it looks.
Where did you get it?
Believe it or not, Amazon. there's a company that makes them, like a metal company, and they just have their little storefront on Amazon. And I got a bunch of gift cards for my birthday, and I was like, I need something to fill in that slot, and that just worked perfectly.
Nice, dude. I told you that I am. I know it's not quite in the same pop culture realm as you usually cover, but a buddy of mine is the guy that makes Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger gloves for Comic Cons and shit. So I might be able to get you a handmade custom glove if you want.
Any time. That would absolutely go up on the wall. I mean, I have people send me stuff, so there's some things back there. Like a lot of it's my own personal collection, but when people send me things, which shockingly happens for some reason, I put it back there. That's a custom piece that somebody did and like handmade in their shop. So that was cool. Let's see. I keep shit. I used to have like oh, there it is. So if you'd like to send me anything, send it to P.O. Box 274, Monrovia, Maryland 21770. And someone once told me, they're like, what if they send you like a box full of dicks? I'm like, well, I would open it on air and I would thank you for the box full of dicks. I mean, what am I going to...
Absolutely.
What am I going to say? Oh, yes. Another one was down here. You can't really see it, but 4 boxes of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, generously donated by a fan. Jesus Christ. I apologize. I cannot stop coughing. So, actual pop culture things to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not, this show is called Pop Culture Warrior. We do talk, I should call it tech issues with Pop Culture Warrior.
Right.
Where we have a bunch of tech issues and then we...
I just assumed it was a battle to get to where you can talk about pop culture, hence the warrior.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I did. Oh, yeah, that's a great other point. Mike says, I did get a box of chocolate assholes that I ate on air. So that was, yes, very early on. I think that was episodes like 1 or 2 or 3. So very early on. It was a nice little gift. I did have a box full of chocolate assholes once. And
that's fantastic.
They were delicious. They were absolutely delicious. So I should probably also bring up my notes, which I don't have. This is going swimmingly. This is going absolutely swimmingly. I just
Oh
want
my
you to know
God.
that I'm a
Yeah.
professional, goddammit. I'm good at this.
I now regret bringing all of my shit to the hotel with me.
Oh
I
man.
could have done this shit on an iPhone and fucking headphones. It'd have been fine.
Yep. You go. You
I
got
kid.
it.
I
You
kid.
got it.
I kid. I
Anyway.
kid. I love you.
No, I
I
appreciate
love
it.
you.
So, I don't suppose you've seen Ant-Man in theaters yet, have you?
Not yet. It is something I was actually thinking about going this week since I have my evenings free, but I have not seen it yet. No.
Well, there you go. So, we're going to avoid spoilers, right? It just came out. This is the first weekend. I always try to avoid spoilers the first weekend. I will say I saw it. I will say currently it is critically not doing well. It's not getting a lot of critical rave
Right.
reviews. Its audience score is pretty high. So right now, like on the Rotten Tomatoes, it's like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Okay.
where the audience score is up at like 80, 81, something like that. So it's definitely audiences are enjoying it, but critics aren't. I can see why.
Hmm.
You know, as a critic, when you go to see a movie, you want to rate that movie based on its merits, the merits of that movie in and of itself. And this does very much feel what in the industry, when you're watching a TV show, there's a term called a bottle episode. A
Yeah.
bottle episode is, like a bunch of story, bunch of story, bunch of story, bunch of story. They need a self-contained episode, either like they're running low on budget or whatever, where it's got to be like everybody in one room and talking about one thing and all the chaos and without spending
Yeah.
a lot of money. This feels like a bottle movie in the
Okay.
MCU. Uh, the story's fine. The story's good. Lot of CG, a lot of CGI. I mean, the 98% of the movies in the quantum realm. I don't think that's giving
Yeah.
anything away. And so it's all CGI. It's literally see. There's points where your brain is just trying to take in all the information because there's all colors and swirls and
Right.
beings and aliens and things and shiny explosion, and so it's just a lot for your brain to process. So, excuse me. My God. The point is that the movie, I feel like it's fine. I feel like it's fine. You know, if you're a Marvel fan, you know what to
Yeah.
expect. You know what you're gonna get, and you're gonna
Yeah.
get it. By no means is this a game change. You know, this isn't like Black Panther
Yeah.
or Doc Strange, where they're like, whoa, this really opens up things and changes the game. It really doesn't.
Right.
It hits a lot of the Hallmark stuff. If you're going to see it because you're like, oh shit, Bill Murray's in it, very small part. Why?
Yeah.
Why can't I stop coughing? Jesus.
I don't know. I don't know.
So this is a perfect time to do a talk show
Yeah.
when you can't stop coughing. Really
See,
good time.
I'm more amazed that you can. I mean, I get it. It's part of your job with the show because you love the pop culture movies, what you talk
Mhm.
about. But I do opening weekend movies for big. Nah, not gonna happen in my world. Cannot stand it, especially post COVID movie theater world where
Mhm.
people treat that shit like their living room. Nah, dude, I will. Can't do it. Can't
Fair
do it.
point. I
No.
go Thursday opening show, like 11
Ah,
a.m. Ain't nobody there.
oh, good call.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Whatever
Well,
whatever.
some of us have to work on Thursday, CQ.
You know. Well, I say nothing. James Pratt says, I'll give you 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. All right, thank you.
All
Please,
right.
please do. Please do. Leave a comment. Make sure you like it. What's the shit they say? Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yeah, like, review, subscribe.
Follow us on all the social medias.
3 out of 5 stars wouldn't change a thing.
Wouldn't change a thing. 50% of the time gets me there every time. So it's Kang. Jonathan Majors kills it as King, man. Kang the Conqueror. Absolutely adored his portrayal. It's so good. The guy's just a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he chews up scenery like it's fucking cotton candy. everybody, Paul Rudd's gonna do Paul Rudd. He's Paul Rudd in the movie, so
Yeah.
he's gonna be Paul Rudd.
He's
But
a goddamn American treasure, is what Paul Rudd is.
he's adorable. He's like
Yeah.
he's like a human puppy dog. Like
Yeah.
that's what he is. He's like a human puppy
A
dog.
human puppy dog I would fuck.
I want that on his shirt. He's like a human puppy dog. I'd fuck. Anyway.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but I love me some Paul Rudd.
Yeah, he's great. But is it worth seeing in theaters? I think so, for the sheer spectacle of it. There's some humorous moments. There's some good stuff. Is it a game changer? Is it like, oh, it's the power dynamic has shifted in the MC? No, it's none of that. It's very cool to see Kang. Me as a longtime comic book fan and the animated stuff fan, like I'm excited to see what they're gonna do moving forward, right? Because the whole point of Kang is he's a time traveler and he's this, and there's multiple versions of him and all this, all that. So I'm interested to see, what is going to be done with him moving forward, because we obviously know they've already announced the next Avengers movie is called Avengers Kang Dynasty.
Right.
So we know he's gonna be around. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with that. But otherwise, I think it's worth a watch. Will I usually out like if I really love a movie, I'll see it 2 or 3 times in theaters.
Yeah,
just
for
to
sure.
support it and to love it.
Yeah.
Will I see this one again in theaters? Probably not. I mean,
No.
the reality of it. Will I watch it again when it's on like Disney Plus? Yeah, probably. I like these movies. So anyway,
Disney Plus.
if you saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania this weekend, give me a rating. Give me a rating, 1 to 10. What'd you think? 10 being the highest. Let me know your ratings of what you thought. Angry Elf says he heard stories of people getting sick from seeing it in 3D. I can believe that. There's a lot of movement and resizing and the colors and like I'm sure people with like epilepsy can't watch that movie because it's a lot of flashing and a lot of stuff. Mike Larson gave it an 8. He gave it an 8. All right.
Yeah. I give it a solid 7.
for just from the promotional material and the commercials
and Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah, and Evangeline Lilly. Yep.
Evangeline, excuse me.
When you think about who they have in it, I mean, realistic,
Oh.
like Michael Douglas.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say Catherine Zeta-Jones. Whoops, not Catherine.
Michelle
Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd. You got Jonathan Majors, who's the hottest name in Hollywood right now, and all these people. I mean, it's like, man,
It's an amazing cast.
This is there was a great interview where Paul Rudd was talking about if you remember that scene in Endgame where they had like the whole Marvel family together for Tony Stark's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
He said, he had all these groups of people for like the Guardians and Thor and Doctor Strange, like all these different movies all together. And he goes, everybody would always look over at their group, the Ant-Man group, and be like, wow, that's amazing. Because you had Clark or Michael Douglas. You had Michelle Pfeiffer. You had all Paul Rudd. You had all of them together, and it's like, whoa, that's like a powerhouse compared to all the other younger actors. But that's so cool that that was like that.
I want to see him bring Steve Buscemi into the Marvel universe. That's what I want to see.
Who's Steve Buscemi playing?
Oh man, I don't even know. There's so many options. Gollum? Oh wait, that's not Marvel.
That's
sorry.
That's a whole different.
I'm
joking. There's
joking.
other kinds. Yeah. Let's see.
I don't know. He could be like, I don't know, like a cancer riddled Cyclops. I don't know.
Oh, look at that. James Prince says Radar and the crew mentioned Pop Culture Warrior on the last Smoke Pit episode. All good things. All right, man.
Thanks.
Cool, man.
Right.
Appreciate it. Love the shout out. Howard the Duck. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Howard the Duck's a win.
Yeah, which I think is Seth Green is the voice of Howard the Duck right now. Okay, so I did tell you back when I thought we were going to have a show tonight. I did tell you that I had 2 topics that I picked out just for you.
Yes.
The first,
which I remember because I read them.
Don't make me laugh. God damn it. So the first one is we got one that's a little lighthearted. Let's start with the little lighthearted, and then we'll get kind of into the serious one because I'm curious your thoughts.
Yeah.
So the lighthearted one is what the fuck? Cocaine Bear is a movie.
Yes,
Cocaine
it
Bear
is.
is a movie,
Yep.
and it's when I say it's inspired by a true story.
Yeah.
This is a real thing that happened for whatever reasons, and I don't even remember where in the world it was, but drug smugglers dumped out a bunch of cocaine over like some wilderness.
Right.
Bear got into it and like got high as
Hmm.
bears do when they're on cocaine, and then died. And then
Yeah.
died of an apparent overdose. An apparent overdose.
Parents.
Fucking bears don't know they don't know how to they don't know how to party, man.
Yeah. Right.
Um, and so that inspired someone to write a movie called
Yeah.
Cocaine Bear about a bear that gets high and then goes like on a murderous killing spree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, knowing nothing else other than that, like
Yes,
what
I
are your
will watch
general
it.
thoughts?
It really depends on the because I've watched a couple of the trailers for it, and it looks like it's going to be pretty tongue in cheek, which I think
Yeah.
would serve it well. Like, because a lot of people, it's kind of come like a B movie, or I shouldn't say B movie, like a cult classic like Sharknado
Yeah.
was, but I hated, I didn't even find it enjoyably entertaining because it was, I don't know why. And I usually love that shit, but I'm very excited about the Cocaine Bear because again, it's very, very on the nose, a so to speak. So
Mm. On the
um,
nose, in the nose, one or the
yeah,
other.
but I do
Uh,
love movies like that. I don't want to get off topic, but there's another movie
please.
that makes me think of this stays kind of within that realm of the bear does drugs and goes on a murder spree. But there's another movie called Velocipaster. I don't know if you
Velocipaster. I'm
that was
very aware of Velocipaster.
it's
Yep.
fantastic. I in my mind it's going to play out like a higher budgeted version of that, and so I will watch it not in theaters, but I will watch it. It'll be one of
At
my
some
hotel
point. At
high
some point.
movies.
It'll be on high, yeah, soon enough. Uh, so,
But I
s-
like
so,
the premise.
yeah, total side note, man. Velocipaster. I feel like if they gave that a budget, it could actually be a decent movie.
It was kind of fun with the budget it had, though.
I
It
mean,
really
it
was.
was, whew, that's, yeah, that's a whole, I want a cocaine bear. I
Yeah.
mean,
The doctor was it a doctor, lawyer, hooker, something.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So in the vein, let me ask you this. Let's stretch
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
creative muscle. Let's flex your creative muscle here.
Mm,
If Cocaine Bear were to have a sequel,
yeah.
what would you pitch as its sequel, as its spiritual
Oh,
successor? Doesn't have to be cocaine, doesn't have to be a
right.
bear.
Yeah.
Pitch
Meth badger.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that no second guessing, just
No,
like you
no
had it in the hip
hesitation.
pocket.
Meth badger.
That
Yep.
I've always wanted to you think that's just something you've had in your mind, like a meth badger. Yeah, I like it.
It just came naturally, you know.
Yeah, just yeah,
I don't
it comes naturally.
Well,
Working
like
on
I
this
don't
thing,
know, but weirdly enough, cocaine bear, it fits, right? Like just
it
as
just
an
sounds good.
alliteration, it works well together. Yeah, and then that's meth badger works the same.
So from Mike in the chats, he says working on the sequel, cocaine alligator or cocaine sharks. Well,
Nice.
I feel like we've done the shark thing. I feel like we've done the shark. I feel like we've done the snakes, right? Snakes in a plane. Um,
Anaconda, one of the greatest snake movies of all
Anaconda,
time.
Anaconda. You know, we've done the what's the little bitey fish ones?
Piranhas.
Piranhas. We've done
Yeah,
piranhas. Um, yeah. I need something a little more vicious though. Well, I like don't get me wrong, because Badger, it gives me like
badgers are
Chucky,
mean as shit, dude.
but it gives me like Chucky vibes, right? It's small. He can kind of just skitter
Yeah,
around and just appear from nowhere. But I want something menacing, uh,
menacing.
like meth giraffe. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
something that like not you don't need menacing in the sense of like tiger or puma or rhino
right,
or something, but something where you're like, how would you control a
right,
methed out giraffe? Like,
right.
there's just a lot to deal with there.
Yeah, there is.
There's not a
Yeah,
lot of contraptions built
yeah.
to maintain a giraffe.
You'd have AIDS scorpion. That like the first part of the movie is them stinging people, and then like the rest of the movie takes place like 10 years later when they're all getting diagnosed.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. So I've heard from our winner So yay, congrats to Wolfie, the winner. LSD
Yay.
Gorilla. Ooh,
Ooh, I like it.
LSD Gorilla. Something that just
I
sounds
like it.
good.
I like it.
LSD Gorilla. We're gonna write it. We're gonna pitch it. Watch out, Hollywood. We're coming.
Yeah,
LSD Gorilla. I like it.
I like it.
All right. So, on a more serious note,
Mm.
we all know. Oh, wait, we're not us in the biz.
What's in the biz?
No, about a year ago, there was an incident on a movie set called Rust with Alec Baldwin, where he unknowingly, allegedly, was handed
Allegedly.
a pistol that had real ammunition in it,
Mhm.
and he, in a scene, fired it at the camera, which went through. I believe it went through the camera, hit the AD, second AD, or whoever it was, and then threw her into the director. The director survived. The second AD was killed.
Right.
She died later from her wounds. Now, this was not October of last year. It was October the year before. So it's been over a year since this incident happened.
Yeah.
And just recently, Alec Baldwin was officially charged with involuntary manslaughter. And then there was a second charge. They called it firearm enhancement.
Okay.
I don't know law. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. But here's what I have, and I'm curious. I want to get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
So the criminal charges against actor Alec Baldwin in the fatal shooting of Rust cinematographer Helena Hutchins, they've been downgraded. So the news was confirmed yesterday that the decision affects both Baldwin and the film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed. According to the reporting, the Santa Fe district attorney formally dropped the charges of firearm enhancement against Baldwin and Gutierrez Reed, taking away the possibility of a 5-year prison sentence for both. That being said, both Baldwin and Gutierrez still face charges of involuntary manslaughter, which carry a maximum sentence of 18 months in prison. Both Baldwin and Gutierrez were formally charged on January 31st, over a year after the Rust incident in October 2021. On the set of the film, Baldwin allegedly shot a gun containing a live round, which fatally shot Hutchins and injured director and writer Joel Souza. Now, it goes on to talk about, blah, 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 blah. And before we touch on that, just as a second thing, apparently, this movie is expected to resume production in the spring, which
Right.
I'm like, that's a separate conversation we're gonna have on
Yeah.
like if this movie should ever see the light of day. But first, you're a gun-loving American, I can assume. And what are your thoughts on the actor being charged when, obviously it's first and foremost, it's obviously the armorer's fault, and the armorer is the person that should face the most justice in here. They royally fuck. And when you find have you heard the backstory about all that, about the armor on that set?
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah,
It's a mess.
it turns out like she wasn't even really an armorer. Like she was the daughter of an armorer, and like had been on a couple sets, but really had no experience, and she was in charge. And
What
they
is the weapon modification or whatever that hell it is? I've never heard of that at all. Did you look it up by any chance?
you know what? Way to call me out there, guy.
I was just asking.
Dude,
Damn it.
firearm enhancement. I don't
Firearm
know
enhancement.
how that works in conjunction with all the other laws or whatnot, but I don't know. It seems weird because we want to hold those responsible accountable for their actions and things.
Right.
But I'm like, if I were an extra, right, on the movie, I'm like, I got paid to come in, hold this gun, shoot it off because I'm the villain of the week, right? I'm a nobody. Let's say I'm not Alec Baldwin. I'm a nobody, a background extra who they're like, hey, grab this gun, shoot it. And I shoot it and kill someone. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here on set. Like, I'm just the guy. So I think really why Alec Baldwin is facing the consequences that he's facing is because not only is he an actor in the film, he's the producer of the film.
Yeah.
And as the producer, there have been conversations behind the scenes about how a lot of they've been cutting a lot of corners,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's a lot of safety things that haven't been met. People are working in the sun and not getting breaks, and
Yeah.
they're not hiring the right people to do the right jobs. So
Yeah.
he, for those that are like, he shouldn't face any justice because it's not his fault. As a producer, he accepts responsibility on the film for
Yeah. 100%.
malpractice, basically, is what it is,
Yeah.
as a film set. But
Well,
um,
even so, I mean, would you think, even though like, taking the producer out just as an actor,
mhm.
um, is there still, do you think, some responsibility on the actor to at least have basic gun safety to, to see what's chambered, what's in there, to clear the firearm, whatever needs to get done? I mean, you would think, right, that there's at least from a practical standpoint, you fired weapons, I fired weapons. I mean, you don't take for granted what type of ammunition's in it, whether it's loaded, whether it's not, whether there's one in the chamber. Shit, you check before you do your stuff, right?
Mhm.
And so I don't know if that applies, or as an actor, you're just kind of like, hey, like you said, you just show up, hey, point this, pull the trigger. I mean,
That
I don't know.
it's a fair point. It's a fair point. We in the military, I was in the infantry. All our job was all guns, like guns and
Yeah,
things that blow up.
we had super soakers.
We, like that was our. But even when we went through, let's say, like a shoot house
Hmm.
with fake ammunition, uh, meaning no one had live rounds. We didn't have live rounds in the building.
Hmm.
We still practiced as if that weapon was loaded and ready to kill. You know,
100%.
we always, even when we a weapons unloaded, you still, you hear guys like, you don't point that at people, even if it's unloaded, even if there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
It's always weapon safety, always.
Yep.
Now, it's different in the film, I would imagine in the film industry, like the whole point is to point guns at each other, right? Because it's all
Right.
make believe and all. But when you're given a weapon that can really do damage, even if, hey, this is a prop, but like this is to understand the prop gun in this case is an actual gun that shoots fake bullets.
Right.
It is a real gun. It is a
Yeah.
real gun that just shoots fake bullets, or it's loaded with fake rounds.
Which is what I was wondering, if that's where the firearm enhancement thing comes into play. If something was adjusted to make like the wrong kind of weapon for the scene or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think really in all this, the real crime is Alec Baldwin making a Western, but that's a whole that's a whole secondary conversation.
Stop making me laugh, damn it. Angry Elf says firearm enhancement statute authorizes multiple punishments for the commission of a non-capital felony with a firearm.
Okay, so it's nothing to do with actually enhancing the physical weapon. Okay. Okay.
Lawyer speak.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So Brennan says the actors are not expected to do that, nor do they have the time. Fair point.
I call
Fair.
bullshit on the time. I call bullshit on the
Yeah,
time.
they
Those
they
guys
sit
have a lot of
around.
time.
They sit around quite a bit. But I like me personally, I can't expect an actor who maybe this is for the first time around a firearm. I
No,
can't
for
expect them
sure.
to know what to do, but that's the job of this. I think is like the second AD,
Right.
which is the assistant director, and the armor. That is
Right.
their job to ensure that the
Yeah.
actor is properly trained, understands the safety, and they are there to maintain the safety
Right.
of that situation.
Yeah. I mean, because this isn't like this is the first time that this ballpark genre of incident has happened in theater, right? Or I say in theater, in film making. This it's it's happened way more than one time over the course of film history. And so the fact that there isn't more time taken for just basic firearm training with anyone in the movies is astounding to me, whether who's no matter whose responsibility it comes down to. The fact
Yeah.
that it's just still just such a casual thing is it's crazy to me.
Yeah. So
Like
there's
Keanu,
a
fucking Keanu, right? He trained like a son of a bitch for John
oh
Wick.
my god, that was
People take
so
notes.
cool.
People
Those
take
those
notes.
videos of him in the little shoot areas. Oh man, those are so awesome. God, I was
Yeah.
like doing it right. Yeah, and like and there's I was watching a thing on it, and they talked about like if you obviously compare a regular bullet to one of these prop bullets, like you shake it, it rattles, and that's the whole
Right.
point is it's to let you know that it's not real. So I mean, it's like, well, should he have just rattled the gun to make sure you're like, that'd be crazy, just waving a gun around, whatever. But no,
That's how I check to see if mine are loaded.
yeah, is there any rattle? No, 100%, you have to make sure that, like the arm, and I know a lot of guys are saying it's the armor. End of the day, that's the
It
person
is.
that is
I can agree.
accountable and responsible. Um, Again, I think the reason they're going so hard on Alec and to make an example of him, if you will, is that he was a producer on the film, and a lot of
Mm.
reports are coming out about how there was just a crazy amount of like,
Yeah.
red tape that was bypassed and safety
And he's
protocols that
well
weren't in
known as kind
place.
of a douche. So can we all agree on that as well?
I guess we're never getting Alec Baldwin on the show. All right.
Alec Baldwin. Oh, you have you have had one of the Baldwins on here, and but he's one of the cool ones.
Well, yeah, he's actually not. If you're thinking of Adam Baldwin, not actually a Baldwin Baldwin. He's a not a related Baldwin. He's
I
a
know,
Baldwin, but not a Baldwin
I've still
Baldwin.
put them all in the same category.
They're all Baldwins.
They're all Baldwins.
Yeah. So that's yeah, that's a whole other thing. So yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, man. It's such a weird thing to be where I'm like so one of the proposed one of the Hollywood proposed answers to this, and let me hear what you think about this. The proposed Hollywood answer was we're never going to use real guns anymore. Like we're going to use whether it's like plastic or whatever, or like CGI it, or use weapons that are not loaded with anything and just CGI the bullets.
Yeah, CGI muzzle fire and all that stuff.
Yeah. What do you think as far as, does that make sense? Do you lose something? I mean, again, not that any of us are actors here, but do you lose something?
I am. I'm pretending like I'm having fun.
You're doing a great job, by the way. You're doing awesome. So believable. But yeah, like, do you think that loses something? Because there's plenty of movies where that's been done, where it's all CGI and whatnot. So do we live in a day and age where it's like, man, we shouldn't even be messing around with live ammo or not live ammo, but real weapons?
It's weird because you do have the realism mostly from the motion of the gun, right? With kickback and things like that, because everything else is still Foley or SFX after the fact anyway. They're not actually recording any audio from the gunshots. It's simply from the weight and the realistic, as close as you can get, kickback off the weapon. And so, yeah, that's going to be a hard thing to fake. I mean, you're going to lose some realism for a movie like, like a heavy action with a lot of guns. Like if it's a scene with a weapon, yeah, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference. Hell, you could have your finger like that and CGI a gun over your hand. You're not gonna tell. But in a heavy action movie, I think it'd make a difference. But yeah, I don't know.
There's a great point from the chat. Mike in the chat says, in the military, we have the clear barrels, right? Where like, okay, make sure a weapon's clear. You point it to the barrel, click, 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 make sure it's clear. If that's a situation where on set, they have to have a clear barrel. So like, okay, it's loaded. These are all fake rounds, but just click, 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 click into the barrel to make sure that nothing pops off, just to make sure that it's clear. I don't know, something like that, maybe be a thing. But all right, with that, guys, we are at that time. We're going to take a quick short break. We have our guest waiting in the wings, and we're going to bring her on. This is going to be a fantastic conversation. I'm so excited. Massey will be back with us after the interview. And we're gonna do another giveaway. So stay tuned after the interview. We'll do another giveaway. I'm in a giving mood, man. I'm in a giving mood tonight.
You better be after the train wreck of the first half of the show.
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. All right, guys. Massey, we'll see you after the interview. And guys, hang tight. We'll be back in just a few short minutes.
All right.
Shucks.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, right? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show's going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
After all I've done, after all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And if I told you everything, I bet you cry and run away. 'Cause with all the lies I keep, made you believe this was me. The truth is I am not at all who I preach myself to be. And I deserve to be alone. And I'm alone here with me. And after all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And if I told you everything, I wonder if you would believe that with all the ways you've tried, I couldn't change my selfish needs. And with endless love from you, I took for granted everything. And I deserve to be alone here with me. After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? such a beautiful girl. Tell me now so that I will always know that you're a part of my world. 'Cause you're my beautiful girl. And I can't help but think that this is a sign. What could I be waiting for? As fast as you're running through my mind, well, I could never ask for more. And I hope you would know that for sure. Whoa.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. This is Pop Culture Warrior. I am CQ, and I've popped in another cough drop because I'm trying not to cough into people's ears. I apologize in advance. But needless to say, I'm super excited tonight. This is a conversation I've been looking forward to for a while. My guest tonight is a New Jersey-based stand-up comedian and actor. She's appeared on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, where she was chosen by Jerry Seinfeld himself to win the Seinfeld Challenge. In 2021, Ashley won the headliner category of the U.S. Comedy Contest. She's regularly posting on social media, and her hilarious videos of her stand-up and life as a spouse of a United States military veteran have exploded to over 250 million views. Her comedy's been featured in the Military Times, Military.com, and Yahoo News, and of course now WTF Nation Radio, the biggest of the best. When she's not performing stand-up or voiceover, she is usually running and has a daily running streak that spans over 8 years long. Everyone, please give a huge welcome to my guest tonight, comedian Ashley Gutermuth.
Hello. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Did I do it, Gutermuth?
You nailed it. It's Smith, actually. You screwed it up.
It's pronounced Jane. Okay. Oh man, this is. Thank you so much for being here. I'm like really, truly, I'm so excited. I love having comedians on the show. I don't do it nearly enough, but they're my favorite people to talk to because you see the world in just a different way.
Different, deranged, mentally ill way. Yeah, we do.
So twisted. So twisted. I love it. Okay, before we dive in deep, I got to ask the same question I asked everybody else. And obviously yours is going to be a little skewed one way, but what's your military connection?
So my military connection, my grandfather was a Marine. My dad was in the Army. My husband, yep, for anybody who now types, she's got a husband. Yep. Last time I checked, if you want to hop on Zoom, I can prove it to you. He's in the Air Force, and my kid is at the Naval Academy. I am surrounded.
Oh, God bless. God bless. I'm surrounded by these people. I had a joke in my head about like, what's the opposite? Like, because I know guys have a beard, right? When they you're the fake wife. Like, what is it if a lesbian has a fake husband? What's that called? But anyway, sorry.
It's got to be the same, right? I don't know. My husband's 20 years older than I am, so he always says, "I'm excited for you to meet your next husband, or let's be honest, wife."
Yes, I love it. I love it. I don't know why. There's something about comedians where, I'm sure you would see this as a spouse, but I feel there is some type of camaraderie within the comedy world and the military world where comedian friends, and military friends can just know how to go in on each other and not take it personally, but like, I don't know, this. Have you seen that? Like, have you compared the comedy side of it to the military side of it at all?
Yeah, definitely. You know, you can razz on each other and roast each other, and it's okay. It depends. There's definitely some comedians that you would not do that to at all. But I don't do well with that. I like to just feel the energy to like free flow, and I'm not going to hurt somebody's feelings, but I can call them whatever the heck I want. you know, I kind of grew up, my dad was in the army. He got out just before I was born, but he never gave it up, if that makes any sense. Like he stockpiled food to just in case there was a war, but it was all like food that I would want to eat as a little kid, like Twizzlers and Pop Tarts and stuff like that.
Chicken
Nesquik, that was
nuggets.
great.
Yeah.
He's like, in case Saddam comes, we can't eat the next Nesquik. So he never gave that up, but he always had that mentality. Like he was constantly making fun of me and still does. He posts on my things all the time, calling me all kinds of names. And I'm just like, all right, I'm not going to save you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let me ask you this. This is the getting to know you portion of the show. So this is a pop culture show, Pop Culture Warrior. What do you geek out about? So outside of comedy, because I know comedians are obsessed in every sense of the word in comedy, but outside of comedy, what do you geek out about?
I play guitar. So I love guitars, and I love finding deals on guitars, on good guitars. Like I have some nice American Fenders. And a Gretsch that's really nice. Tell you what, you know what I do probably the most? I comedy 24 hours a day. In between that, I do run, and I have ran for 8 years now. While I run, I pick up litter. And I started doing that 3 years ago because I got into a car accident when I lived out Joint Base Lewis McChord, Tacoma, Washington. They have a big road out there called I-5, and it sucks. And I was coming back from a show, and somebody was speeding, hit me from behind, spun me on the highway. Ended up with a traumatic brain injury, cars totaled. I had some military guys come pull me out of the car. And I remember the cop walked up to me and he goes, wow, you should be dead. And I was like, that's nice. This is great. And then the guy that hit me, his car stopped. He kept trying to go, but because his car stopped. And then he walked up to me on I-5, midnight, and he goes, what's up? I was like, and then the people that pulled me out of the car, they said, what's up? We stopped because you hit her. And he goes, I didn't hit you, sir. And I was like, all right, that's not, you do not get to almost kill me and call me sir. All right, let's move on. But anyway, so from the accident, up until that point, I was only running. And I would run 3 or so miles a day. And I'd never missed a day. PCSs, flu, food poisoning, got hit by a car even before then on Bowling Air Force Base. And didn't stop. And then they said, hey, you have some brain issues. You might have brain fluid leaking, but your body's going to hurt. I kept running, but I couldn't run as fast. And so I started picking up litter while I ran, and I would run with a stick with a nail in it. Now, if you want to make the security forces or the MPs on McChord a little bit nervous, run with a stick with a nail in it. See what happens. I did that for a little while. So I picked up trash every day for 3 years. I also, to be honest with you, I do a lot of dumpster diving. I find a lot of stuff in dumpsters, and I have a good that's what I geek out about, just taking crap out of dumpsters.
Hey, to each their own, man. That's the thing I love about something like, pop culture and being a geek. Like it doesn't have to be comic books. It doesn't have to be video games. Like it's such a wide range, whether it's TV, movies, music. I mean, it's awesome. So thank you for sharing your passions with us. Kind of leads into my next question, which is, I'm always fascinated by people that have a platform and are reaching tens of hundreds of thousands of people. What charities do you support? What causes are near and dear to your heart? So, to spread the word.
So right now, food insecurity, that's a big one. I started doing that just even on the base where I'm at, where I started going to the commissary and buying groceries for people because the DOD put out a survey that said 1 in 4 people are food insecure. And I asked for stories. I said, I'm going and doing these keynote speeches. I do that during the day, and then I do comedy at night. I'm doing these keynote speeches to generals and chambers of commerce. What are the things that are making you leave the military? And what are the things that are making you stay in the military? And I got all these stories. And one of the big themes was food insecurity. Hey, I'm selling my blood to pay for food. Hey, I'm starving myself because I can't afford food for my kids. So I thought, all right, this must be happening where I'm living. What can I do about it? Made a Google form and infiltrated all the spouse pages. And I said, hey, if you need food, I'm here for you. I don't care what got you into this. I don't care if it is a Dodge Charger with 400% interest, which I'll just say in all my cases, I have 22 families that I'm taking care of or that I bought food for. It's none of that. It's things like short notice deployment and we had to buy all the gear. Oh, we had to live in a hotel for months. Hey, I'm pawning my wedding rings. It's things like that. So I went and started buying groceries for people, and I've partnered recently with Stronghold Community Pantry, and the person that runs that is the Army Spouse of the Year, Armed Forces Insurance Military Spouse of the Year, Monica Bassett, and she started Stronghold Community Pantry in Leavenworth, Kansas, and they feed tons of families, and now we're going to expand it across the country.
That's outstanding. Shame on me. I forgot to introduce you by your title, Joint Base McGuire Dix Lakehurst Military Spouse of the Year. Shame on me. How
Shame.
dare I?
Give
How
me
dare
back
I?
my tiara, CQ.
I mean, congratulations, first and
Thank you.
foremost. I mean, to be the Military Spouse of the Year.
Hey, how can my husband ever argue with me again? That's what I have to say. Could you have done better? No.
I mean, like that. That's the literal trump card. I'm the spouse. God forbid if I had that. Oh my God, my wife would divorce me. She would have to, because that's such a card to play. Real quick, someone saying hi in the chats. Robin Phoenix, who I believe you're going to be performing with on the Dwayne White show coming up soon. That's a good friend of mine, so she says hi.
Hi, Robin. Robin, yep, we're going to do the show in Woodbridge, Virginia, and then we're also going to go on tour, Best Medicine Brigade, and also if there's any military or military spouses that are listening, $5.55 get you entrance into this comedy contest where you can win. I think it's $2,500. But it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a good time. Bring your 5 minutes. If you've never done comedy before, that's okay. Come into the group. Best Medicine Brigade.
Shout out to the Best Medicine Brigade. I love those guys. Good friends of mine. So that's awesome that you guys are doing that. What else can we talk about? Oh, Kaz in the chat says, your wife should say, call me by my wife's rank. Military Spouse of the Year. I like that. All right. Got jokes. We got a bunch of comedians in the audience tonight.
I love it.
We got jokes, guys, which obviously to the audience, as always, the chats are open. If you have a question for Miss Gutermuth, I'm going to keep saying it because I'm nailing it.
You're nailing it.
Go ahead and put it in the chats and we'll ask her. Let's see what else. So I'm curious. Obviously, I like to do my research on my guests, and you don't exactly have the extensive Wikipedia page or IMDb page that I can dig into.
Oh, they're boycotting me.
So tell me a bit about where do you come from? What was your upbringing like? Big family, small family, all that.
Oh God. Well, I don't know how many of those stories you're ready for. I grew up in Pittsburgh. Have you ever had a Pittsburgh crouton?
No, I don't think I have.
It's where we put French fries on salads. We're very special people.
All right.
I grew up there. Yep. And both my parents had the same job. They were both helicopter mechanics, which is kind of unusual. I think for both your parents to have the same job anyway, but they would both go to the same airport. My mom was a helicopter mechanic. And my mom was actually the lead mechanic. She was in charge of a bunch of people. And then my dad became the quality assurance inspector. And I don't know what you think, but do you think that it would work well if you had to inspect the quality of your wife's work?
There'd be some issues.
Yeah, you'd end up divorced, which they are.
All right.
But yeah, I grew up doing all kinds of things that were not feminine at all. So I grew up changing oil on helicopters and cleaning the birds off of them. And I would go to work with my parents. I learned how to ride a bike on a helipad. You learn how to use your brakes real good on those because they're usually at the top of hospitals. I played baseball. I played baseball until they wouldn't let me play baseball anymore. Was shortstop, batted fourth. Played on the travel team. I wanted to be a professional baseball player when I grew up. Turns out you have to have more than the hair. They don't.
All right, the hair and the look, right?
The hair, yeah, gotta have the look. Gotta be a little taller, I think.
So, that's fascinating to me. That really is. Man, I have so many questions swirling in my head. So before you had when did you first really discover a kind of a passion for comedy, right? Like how far back can you attribute that to?
Well, when I would go to work with my parents on the way to they would get called in the middle of the night. Helicopters break and they're like, like air ambulance style helicopters. You got to go fix them. And we would listen to Monty Python on the way in. So I had those memorized. Jerry Seinfeld, I had his stuff memorized from when I was really young. And it's all I ever really cared about. I don't value really anything else other than comedy. When I watch drama, I get mad. I'm like, do not try to manipulate my feelings with your sad music. You're pathetic. Get out of here. I do, however, someday want to play a supervillain because I think that I'd be really good at that.
I could, in the nicest way possible, I could totally see you as a supervillain.
Thank you.
I mean that in nothing but as a compliment.
I take it that way.
There's some people just can't pull it off, and I think you could totally pull it off. A really comedic supervillain too. At that,
Yeah.
just to crack jokes and kill people. It's like it's like the Joker. I guess that I just realized that's the Joker. You've got a
I'm
Joker
the next
vibe.
Joker. It just released.
So and there's so much. So originally you said you were thinking about doing a baseball, like that was a passion. When did the flip kind of switch, or the switch kind of flip, where you're like, okay, this comedy thing, I'd really, I'm into it. I want to put time and effort into it.
Oh, I've always had that, and and acting, and I did voiceover acting even before comedy if you go to my website, you can hear my voiceover acting reel, because I lived on bases. I wanted to do comedy, but there was no open mics or anything. I was in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if you've ever been to Warner Robins, Georgia, but it's known as Middle Georgia. It's got 2 roads and a Red Lobster, and we're grateful for it.
Mm.
We had wild pigs that tore up the golf course, and I got chased once by a water moccasin. But to be fair, I chased it first. So yeah, that's just the way it goes.
Fair point. Okay, so this kind of like, I remember I saw you first when the clip I was watching Jimmy Fallon, and they did the Seinfeld challenge. That was the big thing, and walk me through this, because again, as somebody who's done stand-up comedy, and I've done little competitions here and there, and I've submitted things here and there. How did you get in that position to do that?
Oh, it's just constantly putting things out, being willing to do anything and everything. I think I had a friend that put it out on Facebook that said, "Hey, the Tonight Show is looking for clips." And I thought, all right, I can do this. Went, and the whole idea was Jerry Seinfeld was releasing his book, Is This Anything? And it has all of his writings in it of bits that he thought worked, and it's written in the cadence as well, which is really great for stand-ups to read and to listen to the audiobook. I've got several copies of it now. um, so I was like, okay, I try to approach things in a way that gives people something to talk about. So when because I find that people just don't really know what to say to one another. So I thought, all right, what's going to give me my best chance of getting on the Tonight Show? Well, do the bit that he did about late night hosts, because then they're going to giggle about late night hosts, which is what happened. And so I didn't know, I just fired it off, and then didn't hear back for a while. And then they just sent me a release form. They said, "You've made it to the next round." I was like, okay, fine. Didn't think anything of it. And then he was supposed to be on Thanksgiving, and I think it was 2020. And I had just moved across the country to our new base in Jersey, and I was like, I don't have TV. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to be the idiot that pays $50 for Hulu Live so that I can watch myself not be on TV? All right, fine, let's do this. I went and woke my husband up. I was like, do you want to watch me not be on TV? And then we watched the whole thing. Jerry Seinfeld comes on, and he talks for a long time. So I thought they had cut the segment. And then they said, all right, coming up next. And I was the first one that they brought up. And I was like, oh my God. And I had the same thing. I used to here's humble brag of the week here. I used to hit home runs fair amount when I played baseball. And it was my favorite thing to hit a home run. And as I ran, I couldn't hear anything. Everything else was blocked out.
Mhm.
And that's what happened that night. And I remember my husband being like, yeah. And I was just like, panic. All right, everybody, hunker down. They said my last name right. And then he said, Ashley's my winner. She's funny. She did the joke better than I ever did. And then I didn't know it was a contest. They didn't say it was a contest. They must have turned it into that later. And then Jerry Seinfeld tweeted a note with my username in
Yep.
it, which
Yep.
was great. He said I had done it better than he ever did. And then I got to see how people react to Jerry Seinfeld because my name's now in it. So then all the replies are coming through me, and they
Mhm.
would say weird things to him. That somebody I never did figure out what this meant. Somebody said, "Jerry, go back to the mushroom and barley farm," and I was like, "What? That sounds like a nice farm to table restaurant." Sure, go ahead.
It's a weird insult, but all
Weird.
right. It's like some type of racial slur I've never heard before,
I
but all
didn't know
right.
what it was.
Damn, that's wild. So, I mean, pretty instantly, like you just said it, and it blows my mind. Where, not to say going from nothing or obscurity, but to be in a tweet that's alongside Jerry Seinfeld, you're gonna get a lot. Like it's a wave of reaction, positive, negative,
Oh yeah.
directed at him, directed at you. I mean, what was the general sense? Did people appreciate that he said you did it better? Were they insulted? I mean, what was
Yeah,
their
there was
reaction to you?
there was another person on there that I was also in the contest that read the joke to cows, who I'm friends with her now. She's in Romania, and but a lot of people were like, "You should have picked the cow one. There were cows in it." I had people that said, you're going to give her a book. Great. She's already got the book. Send her a car. And I was like, well, I can't argue with that.
I mean, he does do a lot with cars. He does do a lot with cars. So was that the overall prize? Was you won a copy of the book that you
I
read the thing
Yeah.
from?
He sent me a signed copy. He said, "You're so funny in it." I also The Tonight Show sent me a T-shirt and like a tote bag and stuff like that, which was
Oh,
really nice. But
yeah.
I also got an IMDb credit that says, "I'm an actress best known for The Tonight Show," which I think we can all agree.
I think
Like,
I
okay.
think that's the prize there. That's the prize there. Getting in. I know guys who are in the business as like background extras that are trying to get an IMDb credit and they can't. And they've been in movies and they can't.
Oh
Uh,
man.
so God bless. Good for you for pulling that off. Um, what does that feel like? I can't imagine for someone like Jerry Seinfeld, who's notoriously a dick. Let's just be honest. Like he's not like, and he admits it. He's like, I'm not a friendly person. I'm not a nice person. So to get a compliment about your comedy, even though it's really his comedy, so he's in a weird way compliment. He's like, damn, that's a funny joke. Like that's your joke, dude.
He said I did it better than he ever did.
Yes.
Don't take this away from me.
but to hear something like that, like what does that mean for you as a comedian, as a person that's like, I want to do this. I want to be. I would imagine the goal is to be, as famous, if not more, than Jerry Seinfeld. So for someone like him to heap praise on you like that, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, that was awesome. And he was the first album that I had remembered. And a lot of comedy is just the cadences. You can say things that aren't funny, but sound funny just in the rhythm, and it'll make people laugh. And just having that, listening to that every night over and over again. And then I remember listening to the CD and then watching the special, and they're slightly different and being like, what is happening here? Um, but so he was the first one that I had memorized. So it was such a weird circle to have that happen. Now, he's not going to remember me, I imagine, but that was certainly huge huge for me, and it was super neat. It was neat to just have people that were like, "You're on my TV right now. What's happening?"
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you got a lot of that. I could just imagine like you're in New York, you're like, hey, Jerry, and he's just like, hey,
Hey, hi,
you.
lady.
Like I don't know you. So I was doing my little Snoopy. So I mean, you've got 158,000 followers on Instagram. You have
All things.
148 plus thousand on TikTok. Why are you against Twitter? Why don't you have a big following on Twitter?
I don't do much on Twitter.
He tweeted to you.
Twitter is Twitter's like where like love goes to die. I, I think like you put anything. There's the thing about the internet in general. It shows you how many different ways you can look at something. Like I can say, look at this muffin. This is the best, like this is the best muffin I've ever tasted. And then somebody will be like, did you know that people can't afford muffins? And then the next person will be like, that's a disgusting muffin. How dare you eat a muffin? And the next one will be like, I have a wheat intolerance. Do not show me muffins. And so it's just different mediums. And I don't know. I don't know what Twitter's up to. I'm happy for it. I would love to grow my Twitter more. But right now, that's just not where we're at.
Guys, get out there and show her some Twitter love. Jesus Christ. So Joe's in the chat says, Twitter is the Wild West if everyone had TB and no one wanted to admit it. So we'll take that. All right. I'll take that. I like it. I like it. I could, the first thing I thought when you said the muffin, I'm like, do you know where those ingredients, do you know what slave hands picked those ingredients to make that muffin?
There's sugar in there. That'll give you cancer immediately.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so mean. Or is it, Scott says on Twitter, you either gain a cult following or you gain the hatred of the cult. I mean, sure. Yeah, fair enough.
They'll turn on you. And they're just like random things. And what's freaking me out now is the AI stuff, right? Yeah, sure. If you type it in, you're going to end up with like seven fingers and a giraffe head. But eventually it's going to be better, right? How are we going to have a legal system?
That's a whole, we've had that conversation, man. The whole AI is like, well, I don't need to come up with a show script. I can just have an AI do it. I don't even need, I can do graphic, AI can do it like that. That's a whole.
Yeah, but it sucks for that.
We could start doing AI, pretend you're Jerry Seinfeld, write jokes, like there's people doing that stuff and making money off of it too, which is unfortunate. Something else I wanted to highlight too. We have a similarity. I mean, if you take out 80% of our personalities and looks and all those things, we share a very similar background in that I was once a guest here on WTF Nation Radio and then ended up booking a gig. You were a guest on the American Legion Tango Alpha Lima podcast, and you are now a co-host for that show. How awesome is that?
Jeff Daly and I, we're doing our best to get canceled. That's what we're trying to do. It's really good. It's interesting to meet all of the people that they bring on and to just be able to try to keep up with the different services, the different, just the different acronyms. It's talking about, like we had a guy the other week talking about, he called it CBRN and I've always said CBRN. Or see Bernie, you're just like, okay, what does he mean? But there were so many interesting things. Like that person in particular was talking about going into Iraq and dealing with all of trying to figure out what was left after ISIS had taken the chemicals from the university and the veterinary hospitals and all the labs. And he said, as with my job, if you see a puddle of water on the floor, it's not water until you test it. I was like, oh God.
There's a similar saying in infantry barracks, but it's a little different. I'll just leave that at that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
If there's a puddle, it's not it's not water. I can guarantee you, it's not water. That's the saying that goes.
Oh God.
Don't test it. Okay. So as a comedian, I'm curious where. Obviously, I was gonna ask where do you draw a lot of your inspiration from? Seems like a dumb question. But where do you get the ideas? I mean, obviously, a lot of it is based in the military spouse culture, or the military culture, or newbies to the military. But what's your process like to get these ideas?
Yeah, I guess overall, I'm basically a troublemaker. So I'll try to do that in whatever way that I can. But my process is to constantly write and never let your brain say you don't have to write that down. I have a thing where if let's say you and I are talking and you say something or I say something that we laugh and I'll do this and I'll hold my fingers like this to be like, okay, as soon as it's socially acceptable, I will pick up my phone and I will put it in my little Google Doc. And you have to keep track of everything because you'll forget it and it's gone and you have no idea what that could have been and how much it could have grown. So you have to keep track of it all.
Oh my God, I hate it. Man, when I was writing comedy every day, like you would have that inspiration in the shower. You'd be like, oh my God, that is the funniest fucking thing I've ever thought of. And you step out and you grab the towel and you're like,
Where'd it go?
oh,
Oh,
it's
it's so
gone.
annoying.
Oh, it's the worst. Oh God, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. What has been, maybe outside of the Jimmy Fallon thing, what's been your like your viral like video? What's the one that gained the most traction? What was it?
Oh, you know what? The one that has the most views, I think it's got 15 million, and it's a video where I'm just holding a phone, pretending to talk to my friend, and I say, or talk to my husband who's deployed, and I say, uh, good news, I'm pregnant. I'm 3 months along. And then I say, oh, you've been gone for 5 months. Uh-oh. And that video made so many people mad. I created a whole backstory. I was like, guys, don't worry about it. This is Rachel and Steve. And it turns out Rachel was just bad at math. And now they've moved to Texas where she's opening up a yoga studio, but they're really fighting on getting that VA loan because the VA won't approve them until they get handrails. And like it just became more and more specific. But people, they get so upset. I'll get people that are like, you can't. A lot of times I'm just giving silly advice. Like I'm telling
Sure.
people to park in.
You can't
I
say
say,
that.
you could say you can't. I have a video green screen behind me where I'm saying Jen. It says Jen
Gen
admin and
admin. Yeah.
ADM, and I say you can park here if you use Excel. Because it's for administrators, general administrators. And I had people that come in, oh, you think that's all we do as administrators is use Excel? I feel sorry for you. Or then I had a guy today that was like, oh, you need to know what you're talking about until you spout off about the military. That stands for general and admiral. He spelled admiral wrong, but I'm going to let that go. And I said, no, I'm sorry. What I love to do with those guys is just mess back with them and be like,
Yeah.
sorry, times have changed. It's just the woke military. It's, it's like, just feed into it. Oh my God, I can't believe it. That's what they've done.
Yeah. I mean, do you think? Okay, so let's take a peek behind the curtain, as it will, because I do think there's a certain amount of, for a content creator, you want engagement, you want people to be commenting. So not to necessarily say like, oh, I'm going to stoke the fire on purpose, but when people kind of bring that energy. Is that like, are you excited for that? You're like, oh, let's get off to the races on this one. Like, is that something that gets you going?
It depends. It depends. Because some days you're just like, you're opening up your phone to, you look like a man, you don't have a husband, you're ugly, you're this. Then you'll get other days where people are like, you are the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Will you send me pictures of your feet? And then you'll have another day where people are like, you know what? You look like you could fit in the back of my van. And you're like, all right, what will you guys just make a decision on whether you like me or not?
Yeah.
But all in all, I don't really mind. Where I start to mind is not when people attack me, it's when they attack other things. So,
Mm.
for example, I didn't do a funny post. I do post something every day. I didn't do a funny one on September 11th. What I did was I did a response to a comment that I got left by somebody that was obviously still in high school that said, that was on one of my other posts, just sort of talking about 9/11 in some way. And they said, I don't understand why we have to learn about this every single year. You people need to just let go of your trauma. And I was just like, oh God. So when you have things like that, where you're just like, you feel like this sense of responsibility. And I don't like when people attack others. And I don't like when people attack others for how they look in any way or things they can't control. If it's their personality, I will completely destroy them. But I don't care about how they look at all.
Wow, that's I guess I've been very fortunate that I haven't gone viral and that not a lot of people watch this show. I guess I'm very fortunate in that sense. I don't have to deal with that. But I will say, like, and I remember in the beginning too, we used to get trolled a lot. Like, because we have a call-in number, people would call in, say some really bad and you're like, click as fast as you can. But and it's like, I get it that there's a certain part of it where it's like, hey man, for the algorithm, engagement's engagement. You're commenting, you're you're whatever. I guess we have guys that write penis at the beginning of a show. Like, all right, rock on, man, let's
Great.
go.
Got one? What do you? My deal is I always want to make the comment sections of my pages to be a fun place to hang out, to share like stories. Like some people will leave the spam comments, and if I see them, I delete them and I block them. Because it's supposed to be like a nice hangout place. I don't want it to be super stressful. I don't want to be political or anything like that. But one of the things that I did do for a while was when people would leave me really aggressive, nasty messages, I would leave a comment that said, hey, I'm filming a TV show where I meet up with the men who think that they are insulting me online, and they meet me and they say what they wrote to my face. And if you are willing to do that, we will donate some money to charity. And it's a show that will never exist because every single one of them has backed out.
Yeah.
Every single one has been like, oh, you're trying to stalk me now, or they would block me because they're not. I am 100% willing to meet up with them, and would just because my whole thing is when you meet me, you're not hiding behind anything anymore, and you're gonna go, oh, I'm sorry, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. Like, all right, well, here I exist. Say it to me now.
The anonymity of that screen, man, it really bolsters a lot of people's confidence. The things you're like, you would not say that to a person in real life, or like,
Yep.
God, how small you must feel in your own world that you need need that to do that to someone else. It blows my mind. Which, by the way, Scott says, people like you if they try to buy your bathwater. So I don't know.
Maybe I'll put that on my website.
I don't know if you've hit that level of stardom yet, but
let's work on it.
we're gonna get you there. We'll do it together. So let me ask you, as a comedian, do you hate when people like, oh, you're a comedian? Tell me a joke. Like, is that because that used to get under my skin? Where I'm like, you wouldn't. Oh, you're a dentist? Hey, can you pull this out real quick?
Pull this out, yeah.
You wouldn't do that.
But it would be fun if we started doing that to every profession.
You know what? I think one of these days.
I don't mind it because I try to be ready for it. I have had moments. Usually, the people that are doing that are they're not actually trying to hear a joke. They're trying to jockey for position. There's something that me being a comedian has threatened them. And so they want to be like, well, you're not actually funny. And I remember I said some guy, he was drunk at some Chamber of Commerce thing that I was at. And he was like, tell me a joke. So I told him a joke that absolutely works. And he was just like, yeah, okay. Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, all right. Put down your tequila sunrise. Let's arm wrestle.
I feel like every comedian has a great story of a time that they absolutely bombed. Would you tell us one? Do you have one?
Would you tell us about the time that you failed miserably?
Just absolutely bombed. I'll tell you mine. A couple
times. Oh yeah, I'd love to hear it. Well, I did a show once. There were 5 comedians and only 3 people in the audience. That was depressing. And that's also, they weren't sat next to each other. Comedy clubs are supposed to sit them together. I didn't do that, so they were all spread out. I also did a show where I was like, all right, well, this one replaces it. It was a corporate gig for paramedics. And before we went on, at first it was like black tie and round tables, which are terrible for comedy, and the lights are all on, and the microphone would cut out when you moved a foot. And the paramedics came up to me and the other comedian that were on afterwards, and he was like, oh, this is a rough audience because we like things that are really, really dark. And he goes, how does a paramedic deal with a COVID patient or give CPR to a COVID patient? And he used his foot to pump a fake chest on the ground. And I was like, you're right. I got nothing for that. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. So that was pretty bad because it was just such a weird atmosphere.
That's and I don't think people sometimes get that, where like you take the best set you ever done, but like, okay, there's an ambiance to like a comedy club, but you take that, and I've made the mistake of trying to do comedy at like a baby shower. And same set that absolutely slays when people are half in the bag and in the dark of a comedy club doesn't go over as well in the baby shower. I mean, it just doesn't.
Oh man, I've gotten I recently, this was recently, had a place that said they weren't going to pay me because my hair was too short. Did you know she's got really short hair? Like, that's really? That's you talking. I'd done it all, went well, and they were like, you should have specified that I needed to wear a wig then next time.
That is,
People are
I'm
crazy.
at a loss for words. Like I've heard
They ended up
some
paying us,
reasons.
but
I've heard of some reasons to not pay someone, but it's never been your hair isn't the length that we'd like. That's a new one.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we, I'm like, I've got nothing. I've got nothing for that. So you told us a bit about your most watched video. What's like one of your favorite bits? I mean, like I think we all have that one or two or whatever, but like what's just like one of your favorites, something that like, oh god, even if it wasn't received well, because some of my favorite bits are like falls on deaf ears every time, and I'm like, this is funny, god damn it, I don't hate you.
This is good. You don't know what you're doing.
You don't appreciate good comedy, god damn it.
You know what, one of my favorites that comes to mind is one that brought a lot of people together. I love pointing out something that people don't realize is universal. And in the video, I again pretended I was on the phone and I was talking to somebody and I said, "Oh, you just went on a date with a soldier? Oh, okay. How did it go?" I said, "Well, Janine, did he have any hair on his ankles?" And oh, he did. He had lots of hair on his ankles. Janine, he's not in the army. And I got so many people that were like, "Oh, I thought it was just me that was missing the weird patch. Oh my god!" And they were like, "You just saved me." And then I would get women that would be like, "I just checked my husband's ankles. You're right." And then I would get the newbies just out of like basic that were like, "My ankles are fine." Like, yeah, buddy, you got to put in some time.
Yeah, give it a minute. Give it a minute. Which, by the way, Scott wanted to help you out. He goes, "Oh, the next time they ask you, tell us about one of your failures." This one time, I was on Pop Culture Warrior. So there you go. My audience is ruthless, man.
Burn.
They'll go straight for the throat. They don't care. There's this great thing on your bio that talks about she's appeared on shows with Mark Curry and Chris Kattan and Stephen, was it Heitner? Michael
Heitner,
Winslow. Give me a little bit. Like, how did this stuff all come about? Like, how do you get those opportunities? That's cool.
Make a wish. No.
Hair has to be shorter. Hair has to be shorter for that.
Steve Heitner is Kenny Banya from Seinfeld, the guy that would go, "It's gold, Jerry." And he is my favorite person to work with because he's super nice and he's super funny. Mark Curry was great, but yeah, I'm clean. I'm a clean comedian. I don't really talk about politics because I think that everybody's stupid. So, so those are a lot of just like corporate gigs that I've just come in to try to jazz it up a bit.
You're the ethnic draw, right? You're you try, try to mix it up.
Oh, I always say, my mom, I do have an unusual look. My mom was Polish, and my dad is the mean kid from Toy Story.
God damn it, that's good. See, it's the ones you don't expect. It's the ones you don't expect to get you. God damn it, folks. That's called misdirection in the business. All right, that's classic example of misdirection. You're getting a masterclass today. I'm curious. Have you ever been like recognized in public? Has anyone ever like caught you out in the real world and been like, "I've seen you on a video"?
Yeah, I get recognized all the time if I were to be not humble at all. I do. I can't even scratch myself anymore because I can see people taking pictures of me. They come up to me and they'll ask for pictures, which is great. I really like that. I would love when people come up to me What's weird is when they send me messages afterwards and they're like, "Hey, I saw you outside your house today. You look cute." And you're just like, "All right, this is a little weird."
And then there's a picture of you attached
Just a
from the
picture of
bushes.
me, just like taking my garbage cans out. But yeah, I get recognized, and it's pretty neat. I think it's because of my hair. It makes it. But
You have a
it's hard for me to
distinct
blend
look.
in.
Is that what you're
Yeah.
going with? Distinct look. Any weird, crazy interactions? Anything
Yeah.
we should look out for?
Weird, crazy ones. One time I had somebody come up to me with her friend, and she goes, "Hey, here's my card. If you ever decide to try a woman out, I would like to be your first." And I was like, I'm very polite, so I was like, "Thank you so much. That's so kind
That's
of you. How
very
nice of you."
you.
And her friend just went, "I did not know you were gay." I was like, "Oh my God." She goes, "I'm not."
But for Ashley,
So we're going to be each other's first. That's going to be a nightmare. I do not
that's
want to be
awesome. I'm sorry to
trial.
laugh in the middle of you talking, but the comedy in me is like, oh, I could see oh man, the jokes are
happened?
there. The jokes are there. Oh
It
God.
happened.
That's so funny. Have you, so, I mean, you've been doing this longer than the pandemic.
Yeah.
Did that change your approach in any way? Because obviously with the shutdown, you're not doing open mics. Did that push you more towards like the content creator side of it? Or was that always a part of it? I'm just curious, how did that change what you were doing?
I did content create. I did make videos, but I didn't make as many as I did once the pandemic hit. I also didn't talk about the military side of it until that happened because so my husband was deployed for 7 months, and I didn't want to be out at shows even before then. Like I'd be at a bar, and I didn't want to end up in the back of somebody's van, as they keep wanting to put me in. So I didn't talk about it. Didn't say I was alone. And then when he came back, I was like, okay, let's see what we can do. And the pandemic hit, and I worked a ton during the pandemic. I did so many virtual shows and companies, I did it for Amazon and Apple and Cisco and all those different places. I did comedy on Teams, which is a dumpster fire. Uh, I still do a lot of those corporate style shows now, and I like them. And they were great for during the pandemic. At one point, I did 12 shows in one day. Full on shows for companies in one day, and just one Zoom link after another. So I kept busy with that, and that allowed me to create a lot more new material, and then to try to figure out how that would work on stage. And a lot of it is just joke structure, so it does work. It just feels a lot better when you're in front of people as opposed to
Yeah.
the screen.
It's a weird, and I don't think a lot of people understand. It's such a different dynamic. I'm curious, did you modify in any way? Because I know a lot of comedians, given the virtual space, not necessarily like, well, I'm going to become Carrot Top and do prop comic, but like using the space because it's different, right? Like you can walk off the camera and do things. Did you ever kind of mess around with that aspect of it, which you can't do on a stage?
When I first started with the Zoom comedy, I stood up and I used the microphone, regular one of these, and used a microphone stand and everything like that. And then I just transitioned to this, and it's just, it's fine. I make jokes to make sure that they unmute because that's a big part of it, and I make sure they're comfortable in case their dog barks. I don't care. I did a virtual show for the USO the other day, so they're definitely still a thing. I like them, but I prefer the in-person stuff is
Sure.
nice. As long as the thing about being a comedian is it's 99% driving. And so everywhere you just have to drive so much. So it's nice when you can just be in your living room
Yeah.
or in what is my beige. You can tell it's military carpet right there. And I'm PC. We're right in the middle of PCSing, so I got nothing.
It's like, you're not military. There's no flags hung up. There's not the
all
coin
boxed
rack
now.
somewhere. It's not a military wife.
Just in a cell.
So speaking of your husband, we never get to see him. We never. The guy you have parading around as your husband. It's for the benefits. I know it is. It's fine. It's fine.
I care.
The Dependa thing it's a real thing. That TRICARE is so good, which it's not. It's so bad. Is it so? Obviously, I mean, obviously, it's a choice. Is it a shyness thing? Is it a security issue? What keeps the husband off camera?
Oh, well, it's first of all, it's fun because it gets people so wound up. I mean, even today, got a message that said, does he even have a husband? I've never seen photos of him. And I was just like, all right, there's a lot to unpack here. I went to their profile and it said, Jesus loves me. And I commented, have you ever seen photos of Jesus? Because just think of my husband like Jesus. No, he doesn't have any social media. He doesn't, he will hold the camera. He'll let me show his ankles. The back of his head has 7 to 10 million views. He's okay with that. And he'll say things every now and again, but he doesn't have any interest in doing any of that stuff at all. I think he should make a cooking channel because we have 2 big green eggs. He smokes a lot of meat. One time he smoked 130 pounds of meat and then we were supposed to give it away to the maintainers. We're having a big cook-off, pulled pork and brisket. And then he had to go suddenly TDY. And so I ended up serving like this huge line and a hanger of all this meat to all these maintainers. I was like, all right, eat as much as you want. Well, we do a lot of that. He cooks tons of stuff to give away at work. I mean, literally a couple times a month, just a ton of pulled pork. And so I think he should have a barbecue show, but he's like, I think he's shy.
He's like, I don't need the attention. You got it all. From Heath in the chat, he goes, that can't be a government issued home because there's no black mold apparent. So
painted over it.
Yeah,
this microphone is covered in
it. It was a silver microphone before all the black mold. At this point, I mean, we've held you up this long. I mean, this has been so much fun. I want to give you the opportunity. Where can people find you? Where can they follow you? Give us all the details.
Well, it's been lovely to talk to you. Thank you for having me. I am everywhere. I am at Ash Gutermuth, ashleygutermuth.com. You can go there and sign up for my tour dates and things like that. But I'm basically everywhere. If you type in short-haired military lady, that's all you really seem to need.
I agree. If you military spouse comedian, and I think you cornered the market. I think you're in the top 99% of searches for that. So you're doing great. I love what you're doing. I hope I'm in the DMV area, so I hope when you're coming through with the best medicine people, I can sneak in and catch a show. Really love the work you're doing, the message you're spreading. It's wonderful, uplifting. You know, we live in a world where there's doom and gloom around every freaking corner. So the uplifting stuff you're doing is incredible. Keep doing it. I mean, it's awesome. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll give you the last few seconds here. I'll let you say goodbye to the audience, and then we'll kick it to a break.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I hope to see you all again soon. Goodbye.
Yes. Follow her, buy tickets, do the thing, get on a Zoom call with her. I don't know, insult her haircut on Twitter, whatever it is you guys want to do, go ahead and do it. Guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more show right after this. I'm going to go say bye to Ashley. See you later, guys. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, right? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show's going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I've popped in another cough drop, so I'm not coughing in your ear. Let's go ahead and bring back our special guest co-host for the night. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Massey.
Hey, that was a good interview. I enjoyed that a
Hold
lot.
on one second. I
God damn it.
fucked it up again. I forgot because it's your fault. You disconnected and reconnected. It's my fault. No, it's my fault.
You let me in the fucking room.
I know. There we go. All right, we're good. You're good now.
I was just complimenting you, so I take it all back now.
No, please. You never compliment me. Go ahead, say it.
No, I was saying I complimented you last time, so it was a good interview. You're above mediocre interviewer, and I like that.
That is high praise coming from one Massey. That is incredibly high praise.
I will say though,
mediocre.
at the end when she was like, just Google short-haired military women, I was like, I've done that a lot, and I haven't come across that, but for entirely different reasons, obviously.
I get. Well, it wasn't on Google. I'm sure it wasn't on Google that you were typing that in.
No.
She
But
specifically said Google it.
authentic short hair military girls in certain avenues are difficult to find. You got to dig.
I'm sure. No, Ashley was awesome, man. So fun, such like, and I'll tell you. So I've worked with a lot of comedians. I've done a lot of shows. A lot of comedy in that world comes from, I don't want to say a negative place, but like there's self-deprecation is a big part of humor. A lot of people, you look at like the Lewis Blacks, where the Bill Burrs, where everything's angry. It comes from a angry place. So it's very different, and it stands out when you see someone who comes from a very positive headspace and a very uplifting, and her comedy is so welcoming and inviting.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Well, most comedians have such a dark vein. Most, not all, obviously. Like
Most.
like I said, shit's like even Seinfeld. Telling him, he's worked as a clean comedian. He's really, if you dig under the surface, that dude is about as dark as they come. You know what I mean? His delivery is just a lot more
It's a very
subtle.
pessimistic view of the world, and
especially his more recent, his later stand-up stuff. It's got even. It's so dark.
It's dark, very dark. I so agree, and a lot of comedy comes from that dark place, and I love when it comes from a warm, happy, inviting place, and she's great. She's great. We'll definitely have her on again sometime in the future. Let her have some more adventures and do some more cool things, and then we can have her back and talk all about it. And she's going to be touring with the Happy Medicine Brigade, which is a great group of comics local to the DMV area, and they're awesome. It's a great show. Highly recommended. If you're looking for something fun to watch, they're awesome. They do a lot of virtual stuff too, so that's pretty cool. Okay. So that aside, we've got you for a little bit longer. Oh, thanks,
as long as you
Gary.
need me, darling.
Yeah, Gary says, great interview. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate that. That's very nice.
I concur, Gary.
It means more from you coming than from Massey, so I appreciate that. It means a lot more, so thank you. Yeah. Which, by the way, audience was killing it with the jokes today.
Yeah,
you guys were slaying me with some of them jokes. That was good. A lot of comedians in the house. I appreciate that. Let's check on my notes. What do I got here in the notes? There's so much going on. So we talked about Russ.
You gave me a list of shit. So
I did. What anything in there that piqued your interest?
Yeah, a few things actually. I was going to go with Back to the Future because I refuse to even speak about Indiana Jones because I don't feel like I could have my youth raped any more than George Lucas already has to this point in time. And so, I mean, I know Harrison Ford is coming back. That's all I've looked at. Just because I don't.
Yeah.
Crystal Skull doesn't exist in my world.
Sure.
And
sure.
Depending on where they go. But so Back to the Future is what I picked.
Okay. I was gonna say, 'cause I'm reaching for Indiana Jones right now.
We can hit it if you want to. If you really want to make me mad, we can do that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with that. Let's get you really mad. Let's start with that, and then we'll go to the heartwarming stuff of like Back to the Future. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna prep here because I want you to see it and hear it as if you were the audience, because I really want you to experience this fully.
This is already upsetting me.
I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so first I'm gonna switch that.
God damn, I look good.
He sees himself. All right. So now, audience members, I have for you, I have the very first trailer of the upcoming. Yes, you're gonna visually watch it. I'm gonna make you watch it. It is the trailer for the upcoming Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So here you go. Enjoy.
I miss the desert. I miss the sea. And I miss waking up every morning, wondering what wonderful adventure the new day will bring to us.
Those days have come and gone.
Perhaps not.
I don't believe in magic. But a few times in my life, I've seen things I can't explain. And I've come to believe it's not so much what you believe. It's how hard you believe it.
Who is this man?
I'm her godfather.
Related.
Get back.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The audience couldn't hear it, but this is what I heard during that. That's all I heard in my ears. So,
it looks like they just took all of the old Indiana Jones movies and just smashed them together with a 110-year-old Harrison Ford. I'll watch it. I'm not gonna lie because I love some Indiana Jones.
You're a shill.
I will watch it, but god damn it, the train and the horse thing, for fuck's sake.
Who really believes Harrison Ford riding a horse in general, let alone hopping subway turnstiles, running down the trains and jumping and all that craziness? Like,
yeah,
come on.
Like the hot man piece that was Harrison Ford in the 80s, fuck yes. But, 110-year-old snack of a geezer Harrison Ford, no, not so much. So
Angry
I
Elves.
thought for sure.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, go ahead. No, I just thought for sure they were going to be setting up after the Crystal Skull bullshit that, Shia LaBeouf to carry the torch. And they obviously haven't done that. I am stoked they're bringing a lot of the old cast back, though. That's cool. But
yeah,
for nostalgia, I'll watch it, but it's going to be a fucking train wreck. And I'm going to be angry the whole time.
I can just imagine you in the theater. Not my Indy. Oh man. So Angry Elf says Indy 5 looks like a dumpster fire. Gary says, I like it, but I'm old. So there you go. Massey, maybe you fall into the I'm old.
No, I'm angry about it. I will watch it out of principle, but I'm angry.
Begrudgingly, I will watch this film.
It's like if they rebooted the Goonies. I'm gonna be fucking pissed about it, but I'm gonna fucking watch it.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it. Why? Like, who needs it? Who really needs? You're like, oh man, you know what? I wish there was another Indiana Jones movie.
Right.
Like, who's asking for this stuff? Why are people doing it?
Well, see, I learned my lesson when Crystal Skull, before it came out, I was super excited about a new indie movie coming out, and then that just ruined my life. It ruined it. Kind of like when Transformer Michael Bay has dicked over my childhood too. So I hate everyone.
I blame Michael Bay for my ruined childhood.
Oh yeah. No, my ruined adulthood. For the few good memories I have of my childhood, he just fucking smashed the shit out of him.
Shit all over it.
Yeah.
It's just, I was gonna say something about J.J. Abrams. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of shit. Anyway,
I like J.J. Abrams though as a whole. Way better than like Michael Bay and Jerry Bruckheimer and those douche canoes.
Yeah. All right. So I was like, usually I'll try to put the positive spin on it, but I'm like, yeah,
That's fine.
yeah, it is.
I'm comparing a solid turd to a wet turd, and I'm just saying I'd rather have the solid turd over the wet turd any day of the week. That's all I'm saying.
I think I agree. I think I agree. Never a conversation I thought I would have.
You asked me on the show. That's all I'm saying.
That's on me. That's on me, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's on me. So okay. So we took our medicine. So how about something a little sweet? How about that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Can I add one more thing real quick?
Oh,
with Harrison Ford?
please do.
One thing I do like about him, and I respect the show of as he's gotten older. I think like with the Star Wars when they came back out and they asked him why he did another one, he just basically said for the money.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't even care. He's like, yeah. Money, it's a money grab.
But I'm at this point, how rich is he? He's gotta be one of the richest actors out there.
But his wife is like 70 years younger than him, and he's got to support her,
Yes.
And his his child, great grandkids, or whatever the fuck they are. Yeah.
Speaking of young wife, did you see Leonardo DiCaprio, who's almost like 50?
Yeah.
Is dating a 19-year-old?
Good for him.
I mean, but like, okay, for a second, just for an aside, for a second, I get the appeal of a younger woman. I get it. I'm not an idiot. I get the appeal, but
it's gross.
19.
Yeah.
I'm 39, and I'm like, what are you like? You're not even. I couldn't talk to a 19-year-old in that manner, like, because there's nothing in common.
Yeah, I mean, but in all fairness, when I was like early 30s, 31, 32, I dated a 19-year-old for a while, but I'm a piece of shit. So, I don't hold everyone to that level.
So you get Leonardo DiCaprio is what you're saying.
But
like,
well,
one piece
I
of
wasn't
shit
50
to the other.
though. I was, that's a 20-year difference at that point. But I also, I can smell daddy issues like a shark smells blood. So
I mean,
anyway,
how do you? I don't know. I remember I just saw that and I just was like, my brain hurts.
Back to the Future.
Anyway, Back to the Future. Speaking of old people, I have this. I'm going to share this. This was just this past weekend. A majority of the cast got together at a local convention, and I just maybe it's because I'm such a Back to the Future fan. I just this made my heart happy. It just made me feel so good. Obviously, not everybody was there. I believe Crispin Glover is not the biggest fan of Back to the Future and their franchise, and I'm sure he doesn't hold a lot of them responsible for it, but still, I had to share this one story. So I met all of them except for Christ, I forgot his name, the one on the far right. Oh man, it's gonna kill me.
Biff.
The guy that plays Biff. I didn't meet him, but the other three were at a convention, and my wife, knowing I'm such a big Back to the Future fan. Like, it was a birthday gift many years ago. It was like a VIP pass. You get to meet all of them, take pictures, and the whole deal.
Right.
Which they tell you, never meet your heroes. My God, never meet your heroes.
Mhm.
But this was one of the greatest days of my life. So I got to meet Doc and got an autograph and got a picture. And I met Leah, who was the sweetest girl. And I think she was just kind of burnt out because it was like the end of the day. And I was literally one of the last few people going through the line. And I remember going in and I said, oh, hi and everything. And, I have my little army hat on, right? I have my little hat that has the army stuff. And She's like, "Oh, you in service?" I say, "Yeah, you know, I'm a disabled vet and whatever." I wanted you to know that I grew up and you know, Back to the Future. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard this a million times. Back to the Future is my favorite movie. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, thank you." And I said, like, but he goes beyond that. Like when I deployed, we weren't allowed. You know, I'm from the old school deployments. We weren't allowed to take things to combat. You know, that weren't issued to us.
Right.
We snuck in one of those portable DVD players, and like everybody brought like one disc, and my disc was Back to the Future. Like that was my thing. I needed that.
It's your desert island book. Yeah.
Yes, it was my thing from home to keep me sane. And then when I got injured, I was in the hospital bed, and after months of being like fucking comatose and shit like that, one of the first things they're like, "Well, what do you want?" And I was like, "Well, I want a pizza." That's one of the first things I said. But soon after that, I said, I want to watch Back to the Future. And so I told her this, and she starts bawling, just crying. And I'm like, "Oh no, please don't cry. Like, I can't be the guy that broke you and made you cry." And she just gave me the biggest hug, and we took pictures, and she was so sweet, and she was so nice. And I was just like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is happy thing, not sad thing, happy thing. And but she was so sweet. And then I met Michael, and I had to share this because this blew me away. So that was obviously the big highlight of the trip, right? I was going to get to meet Michael J. Fox, my childhood hero. And so I got in line, and I was there early. I stood in line for a while, and they're like, "Okay, you know, it's gonna be whatever it is, 2:00 is gonna be the time." And about half an hour before that, they're like, "We're so sorry, we're gonna have to postpone. He's not feeling well," which obviously he deals with, you know, his health issues, and so we're gonna postpone it till, you know, whatever it was, 4 or 5, 6, whatever o'clock. Please come back. And I was like, "Fuck it, I don't care. I don't, you know, whatever." So I went around, and actually that's when I met Leah, and I met Christopher Lloyd and all that. Came back around, got in line, and so I'm literally like, I think it was like first or second in line. I was like right at the start of it because I was so excited for this. And they're like, "Hey, okay, we're gonna start doing, you know, we're gonna start letting people in," and they made very clear, we have a lot of people that want to come through. You know, Mike's not feeling great. So he's sitting on a stool. He said, "Please come in." And this was for pictures. This was for a picture thing. So they're like, "Come in, stand next to him. You'll take a picture. You will exit. There will not be any conversations.
Right.
Do not try to shake his hand. Like, do not try to touch him." Like, they were very clear. They're like, "Don't touch him. Don't anything." And so I'm like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. This is the." You know, he was going to do a signing later, and I had tickets for the signing, so I wasn't worried about talking to him. I get that chance. So they're like, "All right, we're going to start." And I walk in, and the first thing he does is he recognizes that I have the little military insignia and my Purple Heart, whatever. And he goes, "Oh, you in the service?" "Oh, no, I was injured, medically retired, whatever." He goes, "Oh," and he reaches out, "Thank you for your service." And he reaches out his hand, and in my head, it's screaming, "Don't shake his hand. Don't touch him. Don't engage." And I'm like, "But am I going to be the guy that's a dick to Michael J. Fox?" I mean, like, "Fuck you, Fox. Sit down and take the picture." Like, I was like, "No." I was like, "This is my childhood hero." So I shook his hand, and he patted me on the back, and he goes, "Oh man, it's nice to meet you." And da da da. And I was like, "Oh man, I'm a huge fan. God, I love everything you've done." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And literally, I could see, like, you know, because he had handlers and the people around in the room. Yeah. And so let me get back to this camera. But so he had, you know, he had people around the room and everything, and they're glaring at me like they're like, I could hear it through their osmosis of like, they're like, "We just told you not to do this." I'm like, "I don't care. I don't. This is my moment." Yeah. And so he took a picture with me, and he was just, and like, he got off the stool to like take the picture with me because like, I get, like, he wanted to show respect or whatever it is. But I was blown away, you know, because I'm like, he's the guy's not, and I'm like, "No, please, you can." And he's like, "No, I want to stand for this."
Oh wow,
and
that's awesome.
I was like, "Oh fuck, like, I can't love you anymore." This just hurts. This physically hurts that I can't love you anymore.
Painful.
And he was just so nice. So that was awesome. You know, that was just one of the most like, nothing crazy, nothing mind blowing, but just when someone
genuine.
yeah, when you've revered this guy for so long and he's been your hero for so long, and then for him to be
Yeah.
just so lovely and so nice when knowing full well he wasn't feeling well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And he did that. That just it meant the world to me. But
Yeah. That's awesome.
anyway, that's
So, you
that's
know,
my
no
Back to
good
the
way to
Future.
piss off big fans of people like Michael J. Fox and like younger
Please.
Tom. Flip Tom Cruise's early movies and Michael
Uh-huh.
J. Fox's early movies are in the same time and credit them back and forth.
Uh-huh.
It's a fantastic. Be like, oh man, Michael J. Fox was great in Risky Business. Shit was awesome. People get very like unreasonably upset.
Yeah. Or when Tom
fucking
Cruise
Tom
was
Cruise
in
is great.
Teen Wolf. And he
Yeah.
was awesome in Teen Wolf.
Or is it
Yeah.
Doc Hollywood? Is that the other one too? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh
I
man.
am glad that Christopher Lloyd though he's starting to pop back up more.
He's
Like
yeah,
in
he's
Nobody. Like that was
yeah.
such a great movie anyway. But
Yeah, he's made a couple of appearances in a couple different things. Because Michael J. Fox just had that TV show. He popped up in that, and a couple things here and there. It always bugs me out that there's an executive producer in Hollywood called Christopher Lloyd. And he's a big deal. Like he was one of the executive producers of Modern Family. So
Right.
it just bugs me out because every time it was like, and also Christopher Lloyd. I'm like, oh shit, Doc's in this. It's like, oh no, that's the executive Christopher Lloyd, not the actor Christopher Lloyd. But it just bums me out. Like I'm so excited we're gonna see Doc. But yeah, no, they're awesome, man. And I mean, you saw in the picture.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting up there.
They're all
getting up
she
there.
still looks amazing though.
She looks
like,
incredible.
fantastic. But
Let me tell you something. When she hugged me, I'm gonna be as respectful as I can. When I was a young man, she wasn't like she was my crush. She made me a man. Okay. In many ways.
She was your Sears catalog. I got you.
She was it for me. She was her. Remember at Howard the Duck? I mean, there's scenes in there where I'm like,
yeah.
Anyway, besides
I was just jerking off to the duck, man.
So when she hugged me, I had a reaction.
That's so good.
And hopefully she wasn't aware, but I
doubt it.
She hugged me, and I was in the moment. I was a young prepubescent young man all of a sudden. Maybe I'm like blushing right now. And
pull out that 3-inch jackhammer, man.
And oh man, God bless her.
That's wonderful.
I say this with the utmost respect. She can still get it. That's all I'm saying. Like I say this with the utmost respect. She could get it.
Oh, you can check her off the list of guests that will never come on your show.
Never come on this show ever again.
Oh, that's fantastic.
If she were, I would clip that and play it for her. I don't care. I would do it. If she came on the show, I'd clip it and play it for her. Like, that's love. That's nothing but love. That's absolutely nothing but love. All right. Any others that piqued your interest?
Oh shit! You just said one. Yeah, there was actually. But don't judge me for this,
please.
I saw Dexter was the other one.
Dexter. Okay, you were a fan of the Dex?
The first half of the first run. And then I lost interest after the John Lithgow season. I kind of lost interest.
Man, okay. And I've said this before.
Because it was rinse and repeat.
Yeah. I was such a huge fan of Dexter. Season 1, I thought it was great. And then season 2 was better. And then season 3 was better. And season 4 was this holy grail, like the top of the mountain in TV storytelling. And I remember telling people like there is no show that has had a streak of just better and better seasons in the history of television. And I was like, I can't wait to see what they do season 5. Oh,
yep.
And
I got like 4 or 5 episodes, like 4 episodes into season 5, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm done. And I didn't watch anymore.
You're lucky. I wrote it out because I'm like, they'll recover. They'll recover. And man, they wrote that bitch. Like people are like, oh, the Game of Thrones finale and how bad. I was like, y'all didn't watch the Dexter finale.
Yeah.
Like that was critically bombed and hated by fans, critics, by everyone. It
Yeah.
was, if you type in a Google search, worst series finales of all time, Dexter is on that list.
Yeah.
Hands down. Any list you find, Dexter is somewhere on that list. Some higher, some lower.
Yeah.
But he is definitely on that list because that ending was abysmal. So, all that to say, when they announced Dexter New Blood, which was the new season that came out, I was cautiously optimistic, right? I was like, well, and they even came out and they're like, yeah, we're going to try to like, not retcon it, but like
Right.
give him the ending he deserves, a better
Right.
ending.
Yeah.
And so we were, me and my wife were big fans and we're cautiously optimistic and we watched it and we enjoyed it. For the most part, we enjoyed Dexter New Blood. The ending again left some to be, desired.
Yeah.
Did you catch the New Blood? Did you?
No.
Nah.
I told you, when I hardcore give up on something, I hardcore give up on
Never
something.
come back to it.
I have two marriages in the bank to prove that. Like when I'm done, I'm done.
I have 5 kids I don't talk to anymore. I can tell you when I'm done, I'm done.
I haven't watched a Major League Baseball game since 1994 and they canceled the World Series. I swore I would never watch another game and I still fucking haven't.
I respect that. I respect that commitment. All right.
Yeah.
Well, needless to say, Dexter New Blood came out. He was back. Blah, 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 blah. I don't think I'm spoiling anything for anyone at this point. Although I'll even put up I have a little thing. Spoiler alert.
Ooh, fancy.
If you were gonna watch Dexter New Blood, which came out like a year and a half ago, and you haven't yet, here's your spoiler warning. It ends. He dies. Dexter dies in the ending, killed by his own son, who came back. But it's convoluted to explain. He told his son to kill him because the police were going to capture him anyway. And he's like, I'd rather be dead than go to jail, whatever. So the theory, and I'll put away the spoiler now. The theory coming out of that was going to be that the son was now going to take over. Like the show was going to go on. It was never announced that way, but that was a heavy implication.
Right.
The son kind of runs off and that the show would follow him. That can be put to bed because Dexter New Blood has been quietly canceled by the premium cable network. There was never any, like I said, there was never any full indication that there was going to be more episodes, but it was in the talks. It was something people were
even by the name New Blood, that kind of alludes to.
Exactly. They left the door wide open. Right. The show did do impressive ratings considering this was, many years after the fact. So it was a possibility. Now, the outlet reports that despite the follow-up being, despite that there being a follow-up that they were working on that was going to be about his son Harrison, the network quietly, again, so this isn't officially reported or anything, but the insiders saying the network have instead opted to go a different route and will potentially develop a young Dexter series. So
that might be,
like a prequel to the original series following, how did we get from baby in a gore bathtub to, adult killing Dexter.
I like it.
The other rumor, and you might like this as a fan of the Trinity Killer, there's a potential idea for a series on the Trinity Killer and kind of what he was up to prior to meeting up with Dexter. So there's some possible connections there. I just realized, holy shit, I'm so sorry, everyone. I said we were going to do a giveaway after the interview.
You lying son of a bitch.
I'm such a liar. Okay, we're going to do it. There's like 20 people still watching. So one of you lucky bastards is going to win a prize. So with that.
Do I get to pick another word?
No. Never, ever again.
Why? I already have a good one.
You've spoiled your opportunity.
I already have a good. I had two damn good words.
Okay. All right. Last chance.
Yeah,
knock this out of the park.
or llama.
Oh my God. can't with these guys. Spell phlebotomy. The
How about llama?
llama. All right, guys. Oh, Jesus. All right. So if you want your name entered into the drawing, I'm gonna need a llama. Llama in the chats.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And
the things I do.
I have a filler story to tell while you're taking down names.
Please do.
And you were talking about when you came out of all your coma and stuff, you wanted a pizza. Was one of the first things you wanted, other than
That's right.
Back to the Future. And that made me think of I was stationed in Alaska, isolated duty for a while, and of course, limited food. You know how all that goes. Or ration, or I should say, whatever's in the galleys, whatever else. Came back to Anchorage, and I was like, first thing I'm doing is I'm getting a shit ton of pizza, and I'm not drinking because I have an early flight. So got all this pizza. I was like, awesome. So I was like, well, the next morning, I was like, oh shit, my flight's out of the afternoon. I'm gonna go to a matinee, and that movie Ninja Assassin was playing. That garbage fire of a movie. Yeah. So I went to see it, and it was me and one other dude in the theater. And I don't know if it was the grease from the pizza, but out of nowhere, I just started shitting my pants in the middle of the movie theater. And it wasn't one of those things like, oh, I thought I had to like let out some gas and whatever. No, just no warning. I still don't know how it started. It was bad.
You don't know how it started.
I don't. It just happened. And then, but out of all the seats in this theater, this fucking guy sat on the same row as me, and there was only one way out of that row. So I had to walk in front of this dude, ass to face, with a pants full of shit. So, bathroom, obviously ditched the boxers, and then I realized I had gone through the jeans. So I had to go to the mall, buy a pair of jeans, and then fly home from Anchorage to Tennessee with swamp ass. So that's my pizza / shitting my pants story.
Well, I'll never enjoy pizza again. Thank you for that.
I just don't enjoy Ninja Assassin anymore.
Oh my God. The movie was so bad, I shit myself.
Yep.
Wow. All righty. Well, it's gonna be hard to top that one.
Fuck off.
So
I bear my soul to you, and that's what I get in return.
That's a part of your soul I didn't want to see.
That's only one of the times I've shit my pants as a grown man.
We'll have you on we'll do a whole segment. We'll do a whole gonna do like a Family Feud. All right, top 10 times that Massey has shit his pants. Number 1, watching Ninja Assassin in the theaters.
All right. Do your stupid giveaway.
Oh God, Jesus. Oh, we have lost control, ladies and gentlemen. We have lost control of the. All right. Anyway. Okay, so you can see. So I'm gonna switch over to. Okay. Let's see. Let me bring this up on my screen. So, everybody is entered. That's already, like I said, a Patreon member. New entrants being Scott and Gary. You guys are in there. Let me see. There's a way to like hide I forget how to do this. I should have practiced this. There we go. Yeah. Actually, you know what? No, because I need to. So I'm going to shuffle these names. Go ahead. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Oh, this can't go any worse. Okay. All right. Here we go. Good luck to everyone. Let's see who gets the last prize of the night. Well over ordered prize. It's gonna be so
Travis.
close. Travis.
P2.
In by the slimmest of margins, it's gonna be Travis. So nice. Congratulations, Travis. I also have our earlier winners information. He's already reached out to me. So, and Travis is one of my Patreons, so I'll make sure he gets his prize. If you guys want to be considered, or if you want to be winning prizes like this without even having to watch the show, consider patreon.com/popculturewarrior.
After
Just
this
saying.
episode, they may not want to watch the show anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Just win the prizes. I mean, as little as $3. $3. And you see, you could win a prize. That's all it
Yeah.
takes.
And
all
I
right.
think it's been a great show, by the way. I've had lots of funs.
This is it's never boring. Let's just say that. Let's just put that there. It is never boring when you're around, sir. There's always entertainment to be had. Once again, I thoroughly appreciate you coming on and shooting the shit with us, quite literally. And it's been absolutely real. Real quick, let me just talk to the audience here and tell them about the lovely slate of shows that we have here at WTF Nation Radio. Obviously, starting our Sundays, starting off the week right with the Sports Bar. Obviously, Massey won't be there as he doesn't watch baseball. So, other than that, we cover all the greatest and latest in sports with King and Coach. Monday nights, we have the Monday edition with Ice and I think it's Spanky that's co-hosting with Ice right now on Monday nights. I got a previous engagement. I can't make it, so I don't know. But they talk about all the latest, what's happening in politics, in the news, in the world, and Russia with the nukes and all the things, and Ukraine's and all that good stuff, all that good jazz. Tuesdays is Pop Culture Warrior right here with ZQ. Sometimes Massey, sometimes someone else. Wednesday nights is the Smoke Pit. It's like if the E4 Mafia had their own show. That's the Smoke Pit for you on Wednesday nights with my former co-host Radar and TZ lighting that way. Thursdays is Sergeant's Time once again with Ice and with I think Pookie is running the Sergeant's Time there with him. That's your that's for all your NCO news, learning what's going on in the military, what's the latest and greatest there. And then Friday nights closing out the week, we've got Friday Night Freedom, which is such a great show. It is a lot of fun. It is the catch-all be-all. If we don't have another show for it, that's where it lands. They're awesome with Kaz and oh, I know. Kaz and Pookie are doing that one. So, yeah. Sure, is it Shipwreck? Shipwreck's Thursdays. I don't know. We need names on these goddamn slides because I forget who's hosting who and moving shows with what. But needless to say, we have a full slate of shows for you each and every week. And they are absolutely great shows, fun shows. And one day we'll have Mr. Massey here with his own show. I'm trying to convince him to bring a show over to WTF Nation Radio. You can have the Saturday slot. I don't think anybody has the Saturday slot yet. So
that was my nickname in high school. Saturday.
Saturday slot. I figured that sounds about right. Gary says, "Great show, y'all. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate the love. We do it for you guys. We do it for you guys. That's what we do it for." But with that, we've come to another wonderful close of Pop Culture Warrior. This has been an absolute fun. I want to thank my special guest co-host, the Coasty Massey in the Mass Hole representing, and our wonderful guest, Ashley Gutermuth, for coming on and chatting with us. That was a lot of fun. Mr. Massey, is there anything you'd like to say to round out the show for tonight?
Other than I think I've bared my soul enough for one segment. But I appreciate you having me on, man. Always a good time hanging out with you, Boo.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we'll definitely be having you on more. Stay tuned. If you guys enjoying Massey, he ain't going anywhere anytime soon, so he'll be around. Gary says you need a Saturday hijinks kind of show. Yeah. I think we do. I think we'll try to get something like that. Scott, real quick, Scott wanted to know if you eat pizza, do you get like PTSD about the pizza? Yeah, I think he's asking you. I don't think he's asking me.
I think it go either way with the questions, but no, I'm over it. I had pizza for lunch today, so and then there has been no pants shitting. So
there's been no pants shitting. I appreciate that.
Now I did not eat pizza for a good fucking year after that experience, but
So there was a mild temporary PTSD
there
associated
was
with it.
temporary, yeah.
Gotcha.
More trauma, I would say.
More trauma, yeah. Short-term trauma. It's a bitch. Let me tell you.
I'm just glad I had a rental car. That's all I'm saying.
All right. And with that, we're going to call it a night. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back with more next week. We have another special guest co-host, as we do every week. And then also, what can I tell you about our guest next week? Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one. I need to work in the studio. Sorry, I'm reading a message. Great guest. I'm not going to announce it yet because there might be a small change. But if you're into voice actors and the animation stuff, we've got a pretty good guest. So we'll be talking about that in the coming week. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. I still don't have a sign off for this show. 3 years in, I don't have a sign off.
Really?
It's different every week. I wing it literally every week. As you can tell, this is such a tight, polished show, as you can tell from hanging out with us. But I still don't have a sign off. One of these days, I'm gonna do like a contest and be like, hey, you'll win a prize. Figure out a sign off for my show, and the one that I love the most, they're gonna win a prize. But go ahead, sign us off, Mass. Give me something. What do you sign off with?
Yeah, I usually sign off with fucking you guys. I'll see you later. That's really about it.
All right, let's give it a try. Fuck you guys. I'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Doc! Oh, no! We're too late! We missed it! Oh, jeez, this is heavy. Ah, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Doc, I got a time machine. I'm just gonna punch in the coordinates. Pop Culture Warrior, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WTF Nation Radio. Now crank this bad boy up to 88 miles per hour.